Greetings, friends. It's Pat back with another fun and fabulous episode of Let's Talk Travel. And tonight I'm going to focus on Europe for the topic of our conversation. I'm going to look at three cities and talk about the joys of getting off the beaten track and exploring some of those hidden gems that you might, everybody wants to see the tourist stuff, the things that everybody, but what about getting into some of those lesser known attractions where you get more charm, authentic experiences, more of an experience that kind of takes you somewhere that maybe not everyone has gone before you, the road less traveled for your travels, let's say. And tonight we're going to look at doing this in three cities. And I think you could kind of, if you have like a 10-day trip, you could do this in a 10-day to 12-day trip if you really didn't let the dust gather too much in your meanderings. But let's look tonight at three gems of Europe, and we're going to start in Lisbon, move on to Barcelona, and end up in Paris. And just look at some of the lesser known attractions in some of those areas that you might enjoy if you were to visit those particular destinations. And I apologize in advance because I don't want to miss anything. I've got some extensive notes here that I wanted to kind of follow. So I'll be looking down and taking a little glance at my notes from time to time to make sure that I stay on track and don't deviate too much and get too far off the beaten track. And by the way, uh, as usual, this evening we're going to have a great giveaway for our live listeners only. So you will want to stay tuned, stick with us through the end, and somebody's name's going to go in that drawing as it does every week for some great merchandise from Dancing Moon Travel. Always useful on your vacations. We want to get those accessories in your hands that you're going to enjoy and put to good use. And those are only for our live listeners. So if you're catching us on an instant replay, we're delighted that you're out there, but our drawing is for live viewers only. So here we go. Three stops exploring Europe, the hidden gems of Europe. So let's start with Portugal and Lisbon. And, Lisbon is such a vibrant city, and Portugal is just has grown so much in popularity. So it's a very uh, hot destination right now. Yes, and it does get hot in the summertime as well. But one of the destinations, one of the neighborhoods that I really encourage you to check out if you go to Lisbon is Alfama. This is just a delightful, it's actually the oldest uh, destination in the oldest part of Lisbon. So you talk about Old Town. It is just a maze of cobblestone streets and traditional houses. Uh, Folks, I'm going to warn you that you have, as is the case with a lot of Portugal, lots of steep hills. So I suggest that when you do Alhambra or Alfama, you go directly to one of these trams, catch one of these trams to take you to the top of the hill, and take that to start your trip so you don't get exhausted trying to climb up the hill. There are actually just two of these, the number 12 and the number 28 tram in Lisbon will take you to the top of Largo de Gracia, and then you'll walk down through Alhambra, and that will make your trip so much more enjoyable than if you climb your way up. So take this tram and start your journey there. It is a very colorful and delightful uh, neighborhood in Lisbon. Just just it seems like around every corner on this particular section of the city, there's a delightful plaza, a square, trendy cafes, little shops, all kinds of places to poke in, old churches, uh, all kinds of little things to just poke around. It's a great place to get lost. And folks, speaking of getting lost, it's quite possible that you would become lost in this little maze of narrow streets that just wind and twist. Do not worry. Just keep going downhill, and eventually you will get down to the bottom, and you will be found again. But if you just keep, if you start at the top and just wander your way down, you are going to be fine, and you may be lost, but you won't be irrevocably so. And here's another. This is a shot looking down onto the city. It's just beautiful. All it's just got the charm, panoramic views with these steep hills. It's just an ideal base for beginning a discovery of this charming, charming city. You just can't go wrong with starting here. Uh, at the highest point of this city, you're going to find the ancient castle of Lisbon, and that's at the very top of Alfama. And you'll see these wonderful battlements and views over the city. It is heavily fortified, and that was to keep the early Portuguese kings safe. And also here, one of the things that you want to probably do is to stick your head in at one of the little cafes and where they have some live music. This fado music started here in this Alfama area of Lisbon, and it is just this haunting, sad kind of melody that was started by the sailors' wives. Typically, it's going to be sung by women, accompanied by the classical Portuguese guitars. So it is going to be something that you don't want to miss. A real piece of that Portuguese culture here. Another thing that you are going to want to look at here is just some of the street art that you are going to find here in this area of the city, and you'll just find that you may call it graffiti, but it's not. It is street art. It's just very, very. It's gorgeous, and it's just done by local artists there, and I just really keep your eye out from that for that as you wander through this area of the city. Really, you're going to find it's mostly pedestrian. It's just not an area that is suitable at all for traffic. As I said, it can be physically demanding, particularly in the heat of summer. So do try to start at the top and work your way down. Some of the sites that you might want to see is the Santo Antonio Church, the Lisbon Cathedral. There's the ruins of a Roman theater. Of course, Lisbon Castle. There's some museums there. Just Graça Plaza there. Just some great. There's an old convent. Some of the things that you could plan to see while you tour that beautiful area of the city of Lisbon. Another neighborhood that you definitely want to explore there is going to be the Barro Alto area. It is another very picturesque. This has a street that has all of these bras hanging up over. Some places you see umbrellas, they have bras hanging. So very, very unusual. And you'll find some scenes like this in Barra Alto along as you wander those picturesque streets as well. Just really, really cool things to see as you wander here. They are also just old, colorful, charming buildings. This is just very typical. This typical architecture, just very, very typical of Lisbon and Portugal. So you don't want to miss that. Um, And here's just another view of some of these old scenes as you go through Lisbon. And now this particular neighborhood, the Barro Alta, that's Bairro. If you want to look that up, Bairro Alta. It's kind of also known as Lisbon's party district. So as the weekend comes around, evenings, particularly on weekends, you are going to find some real crowds. It's going to be just kind of overrun with people. You're going to see most of the bars are tiny. They're not big cavernous things like we find here in the U.S., but people just kind of spill out into the streets and wander carrying their drinks from bar to bar. Just kind of a very party atmosphere that you're going to find very much in the Bairro Alta area here in Lisbon. So really a cool section. And I think that just kind of covers what I wanted to say about Lisbon, but a great place to start your 3 city journey of exploring the kind of off the map areas that you might find in Europe. Now, we're going to move from here into Barcelona. Now, this is another hidden gem. This is kind of a scene that everybody's probably familiar with here. You have all of these scenes with the Gaudi sites with the Gaudi architecture that he has done, like the Palua Güell and the Park Güell areas that Gaudi designed, but there are some just a very vibrant area here in Barcelona. The street scenes I like the Gothic, which is kind of what they call the Gothic Quarter, if you want to say it in English. But I love the Gothic Quarter, which is someplace that you definitely want to spend some time exploring here if you visit Barcelona. It is vibrant, it is authentic. You're just going to really get a taste of the culture here in Barcelona. And the Ravel, the street scenes in El Raval, That's EL, new word RAVAL. If you want to do some research on that, but El Rava is just has some amazing architecture, beautiful, authentic scenery. It is a great place to wander the streets, explore the city. And here again, you have a very vibrant street art scene here in this area of Barcelona. Just some images that you might see of this famous cat sculpture that you undoubtedly will come across if you wander through this area very much. But just look at the background here. You've got the cat sculpture, but you have so much vibrant color and culture to absorb here. The little street cafes, the little bars and restaurants to poke your head in, and all of that to see. You also, as you explore Barcelona, are going to come across, if you just dig a little deeper, you're going to find some off the beaten path courtyards and quiet places to just poke your head in. Some of the churches will have these quiet courtyards, just great places, and look for those Gaudi sites that you're going to find with his architecture. And this is another great scene here. This is from the Palau Güell site. This is one of the images from that site, which is one of the kind of places, and that is spelled Palau. If you want to make a note and explore that, uh, you definitely want to see these places like this that you otherwise might miss. Palau Güell and Park Güell are definitely places that you want to explore as you get in and just uh, kind of get into the this intriguing Barcelona culture. And in the evening, as things wind down and you're feeling a little tired, just find one of these amazing little court like this is the Barri Gothica, so that's the Gothic Quarter square at night, as just as night is falling there. Isn't this just an amazing place to just you can see some of these people even have their feet in the fountain. They're just kind of uh, they're resting and relaxing. All these beautiful little cafes. And speaking of which, folks, you know that I am going to have to mention this, but in Barcelona, you do not want to miss out on sticking your head in at some of the local marketplaces. Just see the displays of food and local wares. And my goodness, you do want to take some time to sample some of these amazing, infamous tapas that they offer. And they're just kind of, it's a cultural thing. You go in and you order a drink, and then there's some tapas offered with those as well. And little, just small little snacky bites to have along with a little something extra with your drink. And you do not want to go to Barcelona and not have this experience during your visit. Take some time to smell the roses, to get off of the beaten track and just explore some of the lesser known sites as well. You do want to get pictures of course, of the one, the must sees, but then get off and explore a little, wander about and get lost. Just don't worry about it. One thing I do advise you, we were talking about these wonderful little trams. Now, as you are traveling in these, and I just want to mention this in Europe because it's an important thing. Um, some parts of Europe are absolutely infamous. They're very safe, but they are known for having some of the world's most accomplished pickpockets. They are able to just get your stuff slicker than you can even imagine. And these little trams, they're crowded. Let's just face it, they're crowded. When you take these public transportation, when you're in these crowded public areas, folks, Europe is predominantly very, very safe, but there are crimes of opportunity. And I just want to alert everyone here again to do take precautions with your valuables. Uh, Keep track, know where your purse is. Use a one of the purses that have the security features that are designed for travel. Crossbody purses where you've got your hand on it at all times, and it has some security features on the closure, so people can't just very easily help themselves to your stuff. Camera equipment, anything like that, don't lay it down, or it's liable to quickly belong to someone else. Keep track of your belongings, particularly if you're in crowded areas, and many of these areas do tend to crowd. Like I said, in the Gothic area, and some of these other areas, they do tend to be very much a crowded, and so just keep track of your belongings. Now, with all that said, let's move on to our last destination for our feature this evening. And I'm sorry, my phone's ringing in the background. I forgot to turn it off, and it's just going nonstop now that I have started to get online, but they'll wait. So, Paris. Who doesn't want to see Paris? It's an amazing destination, and everybody wants to see the Eiffel Tower, get those iconic shots of the Eiffel Tower, go to the Louvre. For goodness sakes, you want to do those things, yes. But there are so many other enchanting, delightful places to see in Paris if you get off just a little bit off the beaten path. For example, if you have these secret garden areas like this. This is a promenade, and I apologize, my pronunciation on much of this is terrible, but Promenade Plante here is a charming little park there in Paris. It doesn't take too much effort to find it, and it is just delightful to wander through this beautiful little park that otherwise you may not see, but it is right there in the city, just charming, and it's a great way to just wander around and feel like you get a just a touch of the country in addition to experiencing the city as well. And there are some other real gems in Paris. Everyone, of course, knows the Louvre. Yes, I went there when I was in Paris last fall. You just have to do certain things. But there are also these other fabulous small museums that have great things. This is the Petit Palais there in Paris, and it has an amazing collection of artworks, beautiful works. It is a beautiful facility inside. Just look at this. It is absolutely enchanting. You could while away several hours in here looking at the artwork and just the beautiful architecture of this as well. There are so many of these little museums and lesser known places scattered throughout the city. So do take some time to include that as you wander through as well. Um, and also, one of the things I think is so charming about Paris is they have these incredible kind of what they call uh, passages, kind of hidden passages. This happens to be the oldest of these uh, kind of hidden passages in panoramas. This is Passage de Panorama. I can't say it again. I so apologize. My pronunciation is terrible. But this was the first of the covered sort of walkways that feature artisan shops, old school French uh, dining and cafes, just wonderful little eateries and hidden shops and great places to just while away in just these little off the beaten path kind of almost like alleyways. Passage Geoffrey Gallery Vivienne is another one that is absolutely delightful to explore in Paris. But to just have, they have wonderful shops, great places to while away, less crowded for sure than so many of the more well known attractions in France and in Paris, where things can get become very crowded during the peak summer seasons. Of course, this season we're going to be very crowded during the upcoming athletic displays. They're all preparing for these. It's going to be an incredible time in Paris when they have all of these athletes competing at the Olympics. And so I might just suggest you might hold off on Paris until a little later. Early fall might be good. I think everything will be over for the most part by then. But just to explore some of these little off the beaten path places. Another one that I love in Paris is this La Via des Arts. It is a just a little section of Paris that is just filled with delightful little artisan shops, shops that have all kinds of collectibles and just great little um, things to explore, shop after shop after shop in these little neighborhoods, and intermixed with great little restaurants that you can explore and enjoy. Just you could while away the better part of a day in one of these neighborhoods. So there you have it, folks. Those are my three hidden gems of Europe that I was going to suggest you might consider for an upcoming trip if Europe is on your agenda. Lisbon, Barcelona, and Paris, very easy to bundle these three together, have an unforgettable trip. 3 or 4 days in each city would be adequate to do a cursory exploration and check off some of these lesser known attractions in your itinerary. Uh, and I just encourage you, whenever you travel, take a moment, ask us, what are some of the lesser known places? What are some of the places that we might visit? We can plan an itinerary that includes some of these, and really just kind of cover some of the lesser known uh, attractions in the places that you visit. Speaking of which, what are your suggestions? I'd love to know, what would you like to hear in a future podcast? Uh, what could we talk about? Is there a destination, a mode of travel, um, any list of ideas? What kind? I'd love to hear from you. Let us know, and we would love to talk about something that you have indicated is of interest to you, and include that in an upcoming broadcast as well. Well, I hope this helps you as you're planning a trip in the near future. And as promised, we are going to have a giveaway this evening. We haven't done this one for a while. This is some luggage tags. They're silicone. They're on wire that screws together. They don't get lost. They don't get pulled off of your luggage. They are very sturdy and they are colorful. They come in several different colors. So this is a great way when you're at the airport to spot, all the black luggage, all the gray luggage, it all looks alike. Sorry, but it does. If you have these colorful silicone tags on your luggage, it will help it stand out, and you will be able to quickly check it and make sure it's yours, but it will stand out from the crowd. There you have it, folks. Thank you again for tuning in. Just enter in the comment section this evening, road less traveled, in the comments, to be entered in our drawing for these great luggage tags. And I hope you'll join us again when we're back next week for another episode of Let's Talk Travel. Bye, everyone.